Greetings, Lama Games TV fans and friends, Sleeping Dog friends, Square Enix friends. It's Zagnafane here, and alongside with me, I have two awesome people that are going to help me to unlock some of the secrets of Sleeping Dogs and Wei-san. It's George and Dan. George is the community manager of the game, and Dan is one of the developers. Good evening, guys.
Hello.
How you doing?
So, we're here today. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I'm gonna have some questions for you that I made myself, and I've asked some of people from which are huge fans of the game. So, if you're ready, we can start.
Sure, go right ahead.
Great. So, this is mostly a question for Dan because he's on the development part. So, what inspired you guys for developing Sleeping Dogs?
What we wanted to do was create an open world game that really, embraced Hong Kong culture and Hong Kong cinema. So, we're big fans of, martial arts films, looking at old school Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and more recent Hong Kong cinema as well, like Infernal Affairs, which was remade into The Departed for Western audiences. And we felt like the great thing about open world games is that you can kind of go and you can explore, you can do missions in sort of whatever order you often want, but that they often lack sort of that moment-to-moment quality gameplay. So that's where we put a lot of our emphasis and double down, was on making the hand-to-hand combat feel very visceral, very tight, but also very smooth, and all be based in martial arts. A lot of us worked at Black Box for years, so we worked on the Need for Speed series. So we brought expertise into the racing, and then the shooting. Some of the guys worked on Max Payne, come from different studios around sort of North America, and we said that bringing all those together, we can really allow the player to feel like a true action hero.
More than just jump in a car, steal a car, and do this running that you have to do.
Exactly. We felt like there was room, in the open world genre to expand on that, and like you said, make the missions a little bit more worthwhile and really drive a story as well.
So, George, how does it feel to work in a game like Sleeping Dogs, since you are the community manager?
Yeah, it's kind of like a dream come true, I have to be honest. I had my first playthrough of the game in about May, and I started playing it mostly after hours at work, and then I started coming in on my weekends to play it, and then eventually I ended up taking my desk console home with me, and I finished the thing in about, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks. So I wanted to 100% everything, and that's something else going on. And I was thinking to myself as I was playing the game, wow, like I haven't had a game that's really gripped me and really pulled me into the world and made me want to go and explore and find out all these little nooks and crannies and really 100% it, true 100% completion in a long, long time. And I said to my boss, like, I think I'm getting a little bit too close to the project. And in the end, this is the reaction that's come from fans as well, is that it is a great, really gripping, really engaging experience. And so my own initial first reaction was like, wow, I really think that this is going to be a really appealing game that grabs people's attention. I'm really glad that when it was released and the fan feedback came back, that my first initial reaction was shared by the community.
That's quite nice. I've actually, to be honest, I haven't finished 100% of the game yet, but indeed it's true addictive.
It is very addictive, and I think for me it's as much the story as it is I really felt invested in all the various different characters, and I know I don't want to make any spoilers, but there's a few twists in the tale that a few people in the community have said, "Oh, I saw that coming," but I didn't see it coming at all, and it really shocked me. And that was at about when I got to that point in the game. You'll know which point I'm talking about if you finished it. When I got to that point in the game, about 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night. I'm at the office and I'm playing this game. I'm like, wow, like, where did
Yeah.
that come from?
It's the what the
Um,
fuck moment.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
your words, not mine. But yeah, it's fantastic. And the other great thing is working with UFG. UFG are fantastic to work with on a number of levels, but principally for me, they're really nice people. Like Dan is a really nice person, and they're supremely talented, supremely creative, and they really genuinely care about community. And to a degree that's beyond lip service, it's much more.
Mm.
Several times, Dan has come to me and said, we want to do this with the community, or how about we do this, or we've got this DLC, and why don't you go and ask the community what they would like to see and get them to vote on it? We went ahead and did that, and now we're creating the Monkey King pack, which was voted on by the community. And all of this is coming from UFG, who have created a really great game, and as far as I said, it's enjoying the fact that fans love it.
Well, indeed, it's really important to listen to the community, especially when you go for DLCs, which it has become, I know, I could say fashion. I mean, if I re- not if I remember correctly. Personally, I'm 27 years old, and I only remember either sequels of the games, then the expansions came, and now it's the DLCs. That's the thing. I mean, I remember waiting years to play the second part of a game, and it wasn't even called an expansion. Then the expansions came, and now we have the DLCs. And of course, it's really important to listen to the community.
Yeah, I think we really wanted to make sure that with the DLC, we always saw it was an exciting opportunity to do a couple of things. One is really listen to the community, what they wanted to get, what excited them. We had a vote online as well for choosing between a few different options for one of our final packs, which is called the Monkey King, which is an outfit, bike, and a one-handed staff weapon, plus some buffs. But the other thing was, it was exciting for us as developers to try and do some unique things that we hadn't been able to do on the main version of the game. With Sleeping Dogs, we really tried to keep things with serious tone, sort of a gritty crime drama. And with the DLC, we had the opportunity to be able to expand on that, explore other parts of Hong Kong cinema. So, like Nightmare in North Point, we took inspiration from films like Big Trouble in Little China, and some of those sort of cheesy 80s sort of action.
I understand. It's like giving something that has been lost back. Not lost,
Exactly.
but let me say forgotten. Better say forgotten, I guess.
Yeah, and with our next DLC pack that's coming out just before Christmas is called Zodiac Tournament, and I'm really excited about this one. It has that sort of 1970s Bruce Lee film sort of feel, where you're in a fight tournament on this island with a bunch of different fighters, different styles, and basically you're fighting to the death. So it's pretty exciting to kind of have the opportunity to work on those sorts of DLC and deliver something new to the fans.
Yeah, that sounds quite exciting actually. That's something I would expect to get. I mean, because most of the DLCs are like weapon upgrades or visual upgrades. DLCs need to give some extra content nowadays because it's way easier for a company to develop a DLC instead of an expansion. Well, yeah, but here's the next question, which is about DLCs and expansions and everything. Will there be a sequel actually to the game, starring the original cast of characters? I mean,
Right now, it's not anything we can really talk about. Our main focus right now in the team is dedicated to getting the DLC out, making it as high quality as possible, and really delivering some interesting and unique experiences for the player. And that's kind of what we're focused on still right now.
yeah, I understand that, but behind your head, as Dan now, where I'm not talking to the Sleeping Dog developer, I'm talking as Dan. Would you like to see a Sleeping Dogs 2 or Sleeping Dogs 1 we're back to take the town or something like that as expansion.
Very much so. I think that, from several different levels. I mean, Sleeping Dogs 1 was amazing to work on, but we developed our own technology from scratch. It was a brand new game, brand new IP, so there was a lot of hurdles for us to, sort of overcome. So the idea of working on a sequel where you're able to take all that tech, spend several years polishing it, refining it, adding in a bunch of new mechanics, I think is really exciting, and it's something that I hope that one day in the future we will be able to do.
Indeed. So, should we expect a Waking Cats expansion at some point? That was the most common question people asked me to say. I know it sounds weird, but on the 20 people that I spoke about this interview, everyone was asking this. Is there going to be a Waiting Cat expansion?
That's funny because what I've heard the most is you should have called the first one Snoozy Pups, and then the sequel could have been Sleeping Dogs.
It's quite a catchy name though, Sleeping Dogs, even though no one's sleeping in this game.
No, it's quite the opposite. I think everyone's sort of on the edge of their seat. It was something that one of the great things about partnering with Square was they really tried to bring sort of a fresh perspective to the table. And instead of making it just called something like Undercover Cop in Hong Kong Part 6, they wanted to give it something that reflected the emphasis on the story and the characterization, the quality of the voice talent that we got. Tom Wilkinson, Emma Stone. Emma Stone was nominated for the Spike TV Awards for Best Female Actress in a Video Game this year. So we're hoping that she wins. We'll find out next week. Lucy Liu and obviously Edison Chen, William Lee. So this amazing cast. And what Square suggested was instead of going with sort of a more video game sounding name, let's aim for something that sounds more cinematic. And so Sleeping Dogs does sound like it could be the name of a film.
Yeah, I will agree about that. It was one of my thoughts actually. Why wouldn't make that a film? It's quite an interesting story. And quite believable actually, considering what's happening in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time doing research about the triads, about Hong Kong cinema, about the culture of Hong Kong, and did several trips there as well. So, we tried to keep it as realistic and sort of as gritty as possible, so that, it did feel believable, and you did care about these characters, about Wei, about Winston, and Jackie.
Yeah, poor good guy Winston, I guess. Almost slip a spoiler here.
Yeah.
I really find this game fascinating, even though, as I said earlier, I wasn't such a huge fan of this kind of games, but it's not just a hit and run game, it's more of a mystery game. I mean, have you ever guys thought of developing other games like that in crime genre? With a separate game that has to do about Yakuza.
I think there's lots to explore within sort of the triad world and culture, and about being a cop and an undercover cop, and I think that's what we tried to convey to the player of what it means to be an undercover cop, the risk you put yourself, your family, and friends at, but also the mental toll it takes that. Every day you're sort of acting like this person who's a violent, aggressive criminal and thug, and at some point the line becomes blurry and who you were before has changed, and
you need to decide where you will walk, which path you're going to take in the end.
Exactly, and I think even if you decide to take the path of true and good, you have to at some point reflect and look back at all the bad things you had to do to prove yourself. And, can you ever really forgive yourself? And so we see that in Sleeping Dogs, you progress with the game, that happens to Wei through these nightmare sequences we have where he really is, sort of hearing voices of people that he betrayed, that he in some cases hurt or even killed, and it's weighing on his soul.
And in the end happens what happens.
Exactly.
I don't know, we're discussing with George earlier before the interview starts. Way looks like the Chuck Norris of video games at some point.
I've never heard that analogy before. I love it. But it was great. We went through a lot of different iterations on what Way was going to look like. The second last one we had, he looked a lot more like Winston. He was kind of big, brawling, mean-looking guy, very muscular, and we felt it just wasn't necessarily indicative of what we've normally seen in Hong Kong cinema, where the tough guys aren't necessarily always the biggest, but they're the most agile. Bruce Lee's, Jet Li, Jackie Chan's, and we also, if we're going to be having him, doing the free running or the parkour and climbing all around the world, you can't picture a guy who's built like, a WWF wrestler to, be able to climb up a building that easily.
Yeah, I will agree on that. But the wrestler's mask was quite interesting. I was doing half the game with the wrestler's mask.
Yeah, it's one of our kind of main symbols at United Front Games. We have on our logo sort of a Soviet-looking sort of soldier, a hip-hop girl, and a Mexican wrestler. And so, even throughout our office, we have a collection of Mexican wrestling masks or luchador masks. So that was one of the very first DLC items we wanted to create, was a free luchador mask for everyone.
Which was quite interesting, actually. So, has there been any ideas that didn't make the cut, actually? I mean, any funny idea that you guys wanted to put in the game but you haven't put it yet, or you might put in a DLC, or you're just not thinking about it anymore?
With an open world game that went on for 5 years, there's lots of little things that got cut. Most things we don't necessarily regret. Looking back, I think we made the right decisions on, instead of trying to jam in a few more mini games and a few more little features that we didn't feel like we were going to hit the quality bar, it was more important for us to focus on what we had built and take the time to polish, to user test those, to tune and balance them to make them feel as good as possible. We've received feedback, people wanted to do more dating. What I'm always curious about is, was it people have that much fun on the dates, or is it because, we have Lucy Liu and Emma Stone as the voice actresses and people want to date with them? And I kind of think it's the latter.
Indeed. Yeah, I actually wanted to date a bit myself also.
For me, when I was playing the game, there was one thing that I really wished would have been in there, but you know what? It's actually we're releasing it as a DLC pack that will be coming out before Christmas. I don't want to give too many details away because we'll have a story up on it on the website, hopefully pretty soon. Actually, I'm thinking, I think what I'm thinking of is coming out after Christmas, but it's very, very cool and will definitely appeal to anyone who has ever, I don't know, if you've ever seen something like Knight Rider or anything like that, then you will definitely really enjoy this particular piece of DLC. I've been playing on it today. It's absolutely brilliant.
That sounds interesting. Quite interesting, actually. Well, I actually thought that one of the girls might eventually be, even you date like 2 or 3 girls at the start. I mean, I've reached 5, I think, and I was expecting one of them to be used in the main story.
It was something that we discussed a lot internally. We felt like open world games tend to have some dating, so we wanted to make that as a bit of a, something that Wei does on the side. But we decided in the end not to make it a major part of the game because of the sort of the serious nature that he's undercover, he's putting his life at risk. He's not a super bad guy who's just trying to, kill people, make lots of money, and hook up with as many girls as he can. He actually has a job, and he's trying to take down the triads. And as well, he has this internal reason of he wants to get justice for his sister who was hooked on drugs, got into prostitution, and eventually died because of guys like Dog Eyes. And so to have Wei then get some serious dating happening and having a girl be a bit of a love interest through the story, we felt just took away from the serious nature and tone of the game and sort of watered down the experience.
Yeah, I understand that. It could be then, it would be a typical, hero tries to save the girl and forgets about his family and stuff like that. I suppose, considering Chinese history and people, this wouldn't fit their way, actually. I mean, I believe that his role was perfect since I finished the game already. I think it fitted him. Whatever happened to the story, it fits him. I don't think I could see anything better as a story progression for him.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. That's great to hear that kind of feedback.
So, are you going to use any more elements from Chinese mythology, like the folk or Yao Guai in the future DLCs? I mean, I already saw a DLC coming that has to do with Chinese mythology, let's say, or history.
Yeah, we have some more packs coming in the future that we haven't fully announced yet, but that will, continue, like I said, on one aspect, exploring other parts of sort of Hong Kong cinema, other ones that kind of touch onto the story and sort of where we left off in some ways. And then we also have some character packs and moves and clothing that are related to just sort of, and weapons that are related to sort of Chinese history and lore.
It's quite good, actually. I mean, lately the kids have been learning from games, and I really believe that. So why not learn some stuff from Sleeping Dogs or any other game outside that has to do with the history, either of some people or of specific cities' history.
Excellent.
So, how important was to use guys like Yun Li, Lucy Liu, in their roles? Do you think that ethnic voice actors aren't used to the extent they should be used in the games? It's more of a personal opinion, actually.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the type of game. I think if you're going for, an over-the-top cartoony game, I think generally going with a voice actor, a true voice actor is often the way to go. One of my best friends is a very talented voice actor who does lots of work on different animated series in North America and Europe. But when you're trying to go with a more serious kind of drama, something that like what we did with Sleeping Dogs, I think it was great to go with well-known actors and actresses because they know how to deliver those sort of dramatic performances. And and I think just being able to work with talented people like Tom Wilkinson and William Lee. William Lee in particular was amazing. He had thousands and thousands of lines to do, everything from grunts and groans as he trips or gets punched or falls, to long back and forth, sort of dramatic scenes that he's doing with Raymond, with his handler, with Pendrew, Tom Wilkinson, the police chief, or with Jackie. And William Lee was a real professional, an amazing voice. It's funny when you work on the game for many, many years and you play the game all the time, you hear these people's voices as though they're in your head. And William Lee is one of those voices where I haven't gotten sick of him at all. He sounds great. He really delivers on what Wei Shen is all about. And then Emma Stone and Lucy Liu, two talented and beautiful actresses, and we were fortunate to get the cast that we did. I think it really helped bring the performance to the quality that it is.
it actually proved that this game was taken seriously. I mean, when you want to make a perfect game, you get the perfect setup, even if it costs a lot. That's my opinion. I mean, I'm not expert in, in economics and stuff. I'm Greek after all. But I really believe that if you're gonna create something great, you need to go above even the budget or anything to get what will make the game be the game with capitals, if you get what I mean.
Right.
After all, I'm quite sure Sleeping Dogs is one of the games that are going for the Game of the Year title.
Yeah, well,
So,
actually, we're lucky enough to be nominated in for two Game of the Year awards that I know of. One being on G4 TV's X Play, and the other is the Spike VGAs. And for G4 TV, we've been nominated for Best Action Adventure Game, and Will Yardley has been nominated for Best Performance by a Male Voice Actor. And in for the VGAs, we've been nominated for Best Action Adventure Game again, and M Stone has been nominated for Best Female Voice Actor.
that's quite great. So, would you guys like to say anything to the fans and the... Let's start with the Greek fans of the game. After all, we are a Greek channel. Let's start with that. If you want to say something to the Greeks, and then we can go to the rest of the game fans.
Just want to say, thank you to all of our fans in Greece for supporting the game, for, continuing to sort of be there and support United Front Games and Square Enix and really kind of help us through the development process. I think we've been very, very fortunate on Sleeping Dogs to have had such great fans, such vocal fans who, are on forums and on websites, speaking about the game and kind of sharing the good news about it and spreading the word. It's much appreciated. And yeah, we just can't thank you enough. So from everyone at United Front Games, thank you, and I hope you keep enjoying all the DLC that we do, and check out the website for all sorts of new updates and trailers and videos and behind-the-scenes shots as well.
Have you ever thought of putting subtitles, for example, Greek subtitles in the game? Or that's quite a huge process? I mean, I'm not very familiar with the development of the game, but I guess it's quite a big process to put subtitles of it and sing every single language of the game, right?
It is. It's quite a big process. So there's a couple of challenges. One is, the amount of time to get all the text localized properly. Then we have to test it all, reading through the text, and then test it again in game and making sure all of them are accurate. And with non-Roman alphabet, so I'm Ukrainian background, and so Cyrillic alphabet's the same challenge where to put in those characters in game, you need to put in a special font. So there's some small challenges there, but hope in the future that fans in Greece keep buying the game and that we were able to localize it and put in subtitles for you.
That sounds great. So, Mr. George, we have a happy announcement to those who are watching the video, right?
That's exactly right. Why don't you take it away, Babbitt?
Okay, so, everyone, listen to this. This kind gentleman and Mrs. Sam, who couldn't be here, I'm terribly feeling really, really bad about that. I wanted a female voice in this video. So, we're announcing that we will be giving away 6 Sleeping Dogs. 2 will be for the PC format, 2 will be for the Xbox, and 2 will be for the PlayStation 3 format. Which means, the one for the PC format is going to be under my link on a specific site that we're going to have the giveaway in there. You can click the link that you see below and get inside. The other one will be given along the other 4 at the end of the month. Yeah, probably at the end of the year, I guess I should say. Or it's too much. I think, let's give it 15 days. In 15 days this giveaway is going to end, and Mr. George here and I will pick the winners. The only things you need to do is comment, like and subscribe in this video and share it if you wish. and we're going to pick the winners, and George himself will send you the gifts, so there won't be any issue even if you are in Brazil or whenever you are, you're going to receive your gift. We would
This is
like to
true.
thank you.
In fact, I would encourage people from Brazil to take part.
Yeah, I had actually one person of Brazil asking about the fee, because I think they're paying quite some fees with the mails and stuff. I don't know if he was trolling me or not, but he was
No,
like,
no, I will. Everything that we send out will be received free of charge.
see, so feel free to participate. So thank you very much, both of you. It was quite an honor having you here.
Oh, thanks so
Well,
much.
thank you
Honored to be here, and great to chat with you and speak to all the fans in Greece.
And I don't know, let's reschedule either for the next big DLC that's going to come, or for the next game itself, Sleeping Dogs 2 or Waking Cats 1.
Sounds great.
So thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.